Hello indie game fans, this week is chock full of awesome games, beginning with Nyaruru Fishy Fight, an anime Metroidvania that is more than meets the eye, where you play as a cat girl attempting to lift the curse from the land. I'm not totally sold on this game just yet with how movement looks in this, but as a fan of all things Metroidvania, I'm willing to give it a shot, but do note that it will be released in early access. After all these years, Hotline Miami's influence on indie games can still be felt, with Space Bandit looking to be an awesome top-down shooter in that vein. However, it is a roguelite, but does have a, I quote, annoyingly clever AI, so it might be quite the challenge. I think that I'm becoming a Train dad, so this video is brought to you by the console ports of Train Valley, an awesome management puzzle game that has you building railroads and controlling trains through various eras of human history, making the jump from Steam to PS5, PS4, Xbox One and Switch this week. Coming to us from developer Phlasm and publisher Blitworks. This allows you to play in several countries across time periods, including Europe, America, the USSR, Japan and Germany, where the story campaign is of interest, allowing you to play through real-life events such as the Gold Rush of 1849, World War II, the launch of the first manned spaceflight Vostok 1 and more. Gameplay involves building out efficient railway systems, as well as micromanaging trains through the use of switches and sidings to prevent collisions, which is so satisfying when everything chugs along smoothly. In addition, there's also random mode which throws different challenges at you, sandbox mode without time or money constraints, as well as over 30 types of trains from steam-powered locomotives, old-timey passenger cars and modern high-speed trains, where its record on Steam is excellent, so get it on consoles if you prefer. We also have the long-awaited release of Lord Winklebottom Investigates, a detective adventure game where you play as a gentleman giraffe detective investigating a murder in a Sherlock Holmes kind of way, where I hope that the humour holds up in this game. If you're down for old-school first-person shooters, Project Absentia might be the title for you, one that is based on Flash cartoons and sprite comics from days gone by, looking very retro indeed, where I love how the developer describes this as containing wanton and gratuitous violence, strong language and degeneracy. I previewed Chaos Galaxy 2 as a game that I was looking forward to since this pixel art strategy title looks fantastic, adding in elements of Chinese grand strategy titles based on the Three Kingdoms lore into a space epic. Of course, I love the pixel art in this game, with the ship and mech sprites looking fantastic, and if the earlier title is anything to go by, should be another title of interest. I have the very not indie Digimon Survive on this list since it is amazing to see how this has survived despite Pokemon's absolute dominance over the world, somehow making it to its 25th anniversary and releasing a brand new strategy RPG where you command an army of Digimons, actually looking pretty decent. Also on the list is the open beta launch of MultiVersus, Warner Brothers' Smash Brothers-like platform fighter, which is just a sobering reminder that we're really getting close to the cyberpunk dystopia where mega corporations are in charge of everything. Smaller games begin with ADACA, a story-based first-person shooter where you essentially have a gravity gun, looking more like Half-Life rather than Call of Duty, which is always a nice change. BLASTRONAUT is a fantastic looking pixel art mining title which kind of looks like Terraria, where you're delving underground, extracting resources and then building and upgrading your base, looking to have a compelling gameplay loop. Demons Happened is a top-down shooter that looks neat, which, frankly, I put on this list due to the trailer music which I've definitely heard before, with action that looks rather intense. For something very different, how about a fire rescue real-time tactics game? Fire Commander is exactly that, where you're coordinating firefighters and vehicles in various rescue operations, looking like a fresh take on the genre, popularized by police or military-themed titles. Hex of the Lich is a pixel art spellcrafting turn-based traditional roguelike, but on a hex grid in contained scenarios, where I'm very curious about the mechanics in this game. I've covered Karagon on this channel before, being a first-person survival title with robot dinosaurs in a post-apocalyptic world, releasing a prologue demo that may be worth a look. We have a very interesting port with Noel and the Mortal Fate, somehow getting an Xbox and Windows Store release this week after previously being on Steam, PS4 and Switch, where this action-adventure title made in RPG Maker has somewhat of a cult following, which makes this worth a look. There have been a number of prehistoric simulation titles over the years, where the latest is Sapiens, a colony sim that has you guiding humankind through the ages, looking to have very impressive simulation systems and a pleasant low-poly look. Speaking of trains, Train Dad makes another appearance with Sweet Transit, one that has you building railway networks and upgrading towns into cities. The art in this looks very pleasant, where I do think that watching the trains chug along would be very nice, and I'm interested in the overall strategy and building aspect. Vestaria Saga 2 The Secret Sword of Sylvanister is the sequel to a game from December 2019, which is of interest since it comes to us from the creator of the Fire Emblem series, who, get this, is 72 years old, so how's that for commitment to the craft? This is a direct sequel, so I would encourage you to check out the first game, but the reception has generally been positive, making this for tactics fans. I could have sworn that the cozy management title Bear and Breakfast, where you play as a bear running a B&B, was releasing day and date on Steam and Switch, but it appears that it is PC only for now, but the art in this is truly a highlight. I do wonder what creepy things are lurking in the woods and how our protagonist will deal with it, and since it has been on my watchlist for the longest of time, earns a well-deserved spot. If you love Metroidvanias, Comaggio Remilia's Scarlet Symphony might be up your alley, technically a remake of a game from 2009 which never had an official English language translation, so here it is almost 13 years later. It looks very much like Symphony of the Night in terms of the look, and has the signature Toho style elements in the combat, definitely being of interest. The fantastically grimdark 2D Souls-like The Tarnishing of Juxtia is releasing this week as well, looking all kinds of awesome, especially if you love titles like Swords and Sanctuary, and for more grimdark titles, watch this video and I will see you after the jump.